Mark with his testimony.
That was great, Val. Thank you. I'm going to make this as fast as I possibly can. I've been going to Mexico, particularly Guadalajara, for 25 years and have become very attached to the Mexican church and to the people. 2 years ago, I was doing a bunch of meetings down there, and the leader of Alcoholics Anonymous in Guadalajara became a Christian, which is a good thing. And he invited me to come and speak to about 40 of their leaders. And this has never happened before. Sadly, the church and AA has not been integrated in really any way. So it was a bit of a breakthrough experience. So I went and I was teaching. I was teaching on shame, and partway through the message, a girl in the front row just put up her hand and said, "I want to kill myself. I'm hearing these thoughts that I should kill myself, and I want to kill myself." And I said, "Can I pray for you?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Can we do it right now, right here? Is it okay in front of these people?" And she said, "Yes." So she came up, and long story short, she was delivered of an evil spirit, and she became Christian, and she was filled with the Holy Spirit in that moment. It was really exciting. So she went back and sat down, and I returned to my message, and a hand went up, and this guy at the back of the room said, "Do that to me what you did to her." So I said, "All right, fine." So he came up, and we did the same thing. He was set free, and he was filled with the Holy Spirit, and it's really amazing. And then he went and sat down, and I went back to my message, and then hands started going up all over the room. "Do that to me, do that to me, do that to me." So I said, we don't have time to do it like that for everybody, so I'm going to explain how you can become a Christian. And that's going to help, and then you're going to get the Holy Spirit, and that's going to help. So over half the group became Christians that night. Guys, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I was undone, and the pastors I was with said, "We've never seen anything like this in our lives." So flash forward 2 years, a month ago, I get a call from Marco, a very close friend, who's pastor of one of the large churches there. And he's a friend of the leader of AA in Guadalajara. And he said, "Alex wants you to come down and speak at the AA convention that's taking place at the end of February." So I said, "Okay, how many people are going to be there?" And he said, "Well, 600. And I said, "Are these AA people or are these AA leaders?" He said, "They're all AA leaders." So this is an opportunity. And in my mind, I've got grandiose visions, which I can never tell if it's the Lord or it's me. But I'm seeing all these people coming forward to get saved in this meeting. And I stopped right away and said, "That's presumptuous, Lord, that I shouldn't be thinking these things. That's just all about me, not all about you, so I'll just forget about that." Then he said, "Well, there's going to be more people than you expected. There's going to be 900, 600 from Guadalajara and 300 from other parts of Mexico. So this is getting more interesting." And then a week or two later, he said, "And they're streaming it to 50,000 AA people across Mexico." So no pressure, no pressure. So I get on the airplane to go down, and I'm sitting beside a Mexican guy from LA. He's going to visit friends in Guadalajara. "What are you doing?" "I'm speaking at an AA conference." "Oh, really? What do you think about Islam?" Like they're connected, right? So I said, "Why do you ask?" And he said, "I'm working with all these Islamic people, and they're trying to get me to become Islamic." And I said, "Well, let me explain the difference between Christianity and every other world religion." So I explained, we have a relationship, they have a religion. And the relationship is wonderful. We talked for an hour and a half. It was absolutely fabulous. Then I get there, and the next morning at the hotel, I go down for breakfast in the cafeteria, and I'm getting my food, and a businessman comes up to me and says, "That's an interesting watch. What kind of watch is that?" I started chatting with him, and he said, "Why are you here?" I said, "An AA meeting," and he just got this shocked look in his face, and he said, "We have to talk right now." We talked for 3 hours. He had relapsed the night before with cocaine and alcohol and was feeling intense shame and hopelessness. And we sat and prayed and talked together for 3 hours. And then the next morning for breakfast, we talked for another 2 hours. So there's an AA theme developing here. You know, it's like it's already started before the conference. So Friday night, could we hit the first slide? Friday night, the AA people, 300 of them plus their entire worship team, goes down to the center of the city at 11 o'clock on a Friday night till 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock, and they wanted me to go? I said, that can't be the Lord. Get thee behind me, Satan. I am not staying up till 4 in the morning. I ended up staying up till 2. So 300 of them, let's go to the next slide, they gather and they worship. They're AA people and they're worshiping God. And the song they were singing was Breathe on Me. They were calling for God to breathe on them. So they go out, they hit the next slide. There's just this horseshoe of people telling stories about how their higher power had changed their life. And a hunger for God. Let's show the next one. So they line up all this food, and they had over 1,000 sandwiches that they took out onto the street. And I was utterly and completely humbled. You know, they are willing to go out to the poorest and most desperate people, and I'm not willing to stay up till 2. Anyway, that was really something. So then had a weekend with their leaders on Saturday. I spoke at another AA meeting Saturday night. And then the main conference started on Sunday. So let's take a look at the next one. It was a pretty cool place. It's a theater. Okay, so let's show the next one. This is a little film clip when I got up. Oh, that's their worship team. Isn't that extraordinary? They've got like all these classical guitars, and then they've got those little pan flutes. And those drums that you see there, they are the loudest drums I've ever heard in my life. They do not need a microphone, right? So anyway, that's their worship band. Let's see the next one.
Right?
Okay, this little film clip.
Okay, as we go like this.
I wanted them all to wave at you guys.
This is like doing the wave. I'm going to fall off the stage. Now, these people over here are the only ones not waving.
They're my closest friends in Mexico.
Come on up there, wave. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyway, so just wanted to get a feel for the room. It was quite something. So Alex asked me to speak on forgiveness. And I checked the 12 steps again, and there is no step about forgiveness. There's no concept of forgiving others for the things they've done to you, only making amends where you ask for forgiveness, and they have no concept of forgiving themselves. So at the end of the message, I got to this issue of how do we forgive ourselves? Because for alcoholics and drug addicts, forgiving yourself for the damage you've done to yourself and others is a huge issue. So they have no conception of forgiving themselves. So I started to talk about where forgiveness comes from and how we can obtain it. And it led into a call for salvation. And when I said, and guys, I didn't sell the Christian life as a good thing, okay? I made it as hard as possible. I said it involves the lordship of Christ. This isn't all about you. You're going to have to give your life to him for the rest of your life. If it's going to work properly. He's got to be your Lord. But you're going to have the power of forgiveness living inside of you. And that is going to transform your life, and it's going to change all of your relationships. Your relationship with God, your relationship with others, and your relationship with yourself. You're going to be able to forgive. Now, how many of you want that? If you want that, stand up. When you do a salvation message to a large group of people, you count the number of people that stand up. I mean, you don't count them, but you go, okay, there's a bunch of people standing up. So many people stood up, I had to count the ones that were sitting. The whole room stood up. I mean, it was crazy. It was nuts. I was absolutely undone and in shock. So I led them in a salvation prayer, and we did that, and then I said, I want you to open your hands like you're going to receive something. You're going to receive the Holy Spirit. And we're going to invite him to come and take residence inside of you. Pay attention to what starts to happen to you, because he'll give you some sign that he's active. So as we started to pray, people started shaking all over the room. They were just like this. And he came and he filled them. It was honestly like nothing I've ever seen before. One experience in Russia comes close to that, but this one was absolutely amazing. And afterwards, I got together with Alex, the head guy, and we talked about things we might do in the future. So there's more opportunity for the church and AA to come together. We can learn desperation from them. You know that song, I'm Desperate for You? In this world, we get as much of God as we're desperate for. It's how the mechanics work. They're desperate people. They can teach us about desperation, and they can teach us about none too far. Nobody, there's nobody that can't be reached with the love of God. And they're good at that. But we've got all this other stuff. We've got deliverance to add to their ministry, intimacy with God to add to their world. Jesus is the